and less about Gary Bettman, more about the Sabres situation is where I want you to go, if that makes sense. So, like, because again, Gary is a lawyer. Gary's not going to say much.
So I've made my peace with that.
Yeah. So here's what it is. So Robin Lehner basically is like, is the NHL better with Jack Eichel not in it? And I would say to that, are the Olympics better without Jack Eichel in?
Hockey is worse without Jack Eichel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Robin Lehner said they screwed my ankle big time. Then surgery, then pills, no care, almost died. But hey, after forcing leg press for a few weeks after my bad ankle sprain in the first game, this is a foot treatment. Later, my soul is gone after a surgery. It's not all pretty. And I'm assuming what he means is that they made him do, like, he shot a picture of his ankle there.
That's gruesome, man.
He was doing leg press, like you know those big, I don't know what the hell, those weight machines where you're doing leg press, where goalies would have to do that because they're on their legs all the time.
Sure.
With a bad ankle.
I don't know how big.
He's not a fan of the Sabres organization, and that's fair.
Isn't that the theme?
Well, regarding Eichel, this is what Gary Bettman had to say with Jeff Merrick. We're pretty up to speed in terms of what's going on, and there's a legitimate disagreement among doctors as to what course of treatment would be best, both in the short and long term, and that's what everybody's wrestling with. It's a terrible situation. Hey, at least he said something there. That's true. And then he said, I don't think it's fair to point the finger at anybody in terms of who's right or wrong. I think everybody's approaching this with the best of intentions, that the injury is complex, both in its diagnosis and treatment, and I think people will need to be a little more patient. So
people will have to be a little more patient.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that's because eventually, like, here's the thing. Jack's, like, he might be, like, under contract and not in control of his body, but he has every right not to show up at the surgery. So they can't, like, handcuff him and make him go.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And he'll get paid until then. Now, that's obviously not what he wants.
Well, so one thing Friedge has floated a few times on 31 Thoughts is the Sabres could theoretically explore suspending him with the argument that here is a solution.
Mm-hmm.
We've given you a solution. This player will not get the surgery. So if you have a player who's failing a physical, so I'm taking this away from Jack Eichel. Let's come up with Jimmy Campbell. There's a guy named Jimmy Campbell. He cannot play until he gets surgery on his thumb.
Okay.
But he refuses to get thumb surgery because there's a different kind of thumb surgery that he wants, and the team won't let him do that. So you're arguing, well, there's a path forward here, though. We can heal you. We can get you playing, and you're refusing to do that. So why are we going to give you $10 million to sit at home when we've offered you a surgery? We've offered you a path forward. And if the Sabres choose that path with Jack Eichel, which they might, that would be very ugly.
Well, I think that would... Gary's a smart man. As much as everybody hates that, Gary's extremely smart.
Oh, yeah.
And I think in this particular situation, if they were to go that route, if the Sabres were to go that route, you may as well just fold the team and move it.
Yeah.
The Sabres fans would reject it. The NHL, every fan in the NHL would be howling mad. And
the PA
really,
might actually stick up for once.
And I think doubtful. The PA's weak.
But this affects money.
The league itself is being called on to step in and arbitrate the situation. I don't think it reached the point where they're suspending Jack Eichel and they wouldn't step in before that.
Yeah. They're shambolic.
But this is so. Here's, I don't know if you said this on the show, but you actually said, I think it was before the show. You said, who did they sign?
No one.
Who plays for them?
For the season preview, like, we had to do research. I was like, who was their leading scorer last year?
It's like Skinner, Middlestat.
And it was Sam Reinhart, who's gone. Mm-hmm. He was the only guy who scored.
Rasmus Ristolainen.
So their best remaining scorer is Victor Olofsson. Oh. Because you can't add Jack Eichel to that. Taylor Hall's gone. Not that he did much scoring there. They're shambolic. They have two goalies making league minimum. One of them's 40. The other's Aaron Dell. They're a disgrace.
So
Steve, they're an on ice disgrace.
Before
off the ice, what are you doing?
Before the thing that I wanted you to say is they can't let anyone go through waivers. They have to assemble a roster for at least from waivers.
Pierre Engvall goes through waivers. He's a top 5 Sabres forward.
I mean, if you were to talk to Leafs Twitter, and
Name
we'll get
5
to this,
better.
There are some people on Leafs Twitter that say he's a top 5 forward.
Like,
on the Leafs.
Sure. Great. Like,
he's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a separate conversation.
Separate conversation. But the Sabres, this is the thing, right? You know, we talk about integrity of the game, right? We talk about, people talk about that shit all the time, integrity of the game. If you can look me in the eye and tell me that what the Sabres have, forget Jack Eichel, just as a roster, is integrity in the NHL, you're full of shit. You're full of shit.
Every year, the team projected to be the worst is able to sign mercenaries.
Yes.
The Sabres didn't get any. No one wants to go there.
I don't even know if they even try.
They're the reason that players have 8-team no trade lists, and I promise you, if Canada gets an 8th team, it'll be 9. Like, no one wants to go there.
So my problem with the Jack Eichel situation is that there's a path forward here for the Sabres and Kevin Adams and the Pugulas, and they're holding back this player from continuing his life because you can, one, release the medicals to the other teams. They haven't done that.
That's a big issue that was brought up on 31 Thoughts. So here, go ahead. Through that. Well, so basically by releasing his medicals to other teams, there are teams trying to negotiate with the Buffalo Sabres who cannot put their best offer forward because they don't actually know his medical situation in detail.
So they don't want to trade him then. They're not serious about trading him.
No, they have to. Like,
I know they do, but they're not serious about it. Right. If you're serious about it, you're releasing that.
Or they're just bad at this. Like, I don't know, man.
Exactly. So Kevin Adams and the owner, they're purposely not giving the medicals to the other teams so they can't make good offers on Jack Eichel, so they can't release him to the other teams. And there are other teams around the league, according to insiders, that are willing to let Jack Eichel get the surgery that he wants if they understand the whole situation. So Jack Eichel's camp is going to these other teams and be like, hey, this is all the information on the surgeries. This is why it's safe and this is why it can happen. And they're considering letting him do that. If it's 4 teams, 5 teams, whatever, they're out there. But Kevin Adams isn't willing to negotiate and make a deal. So they are holding up this just to have a stalemate in an argument that's just, will you get the surgery? No, I want this surgery. Will you get the surgery? No, I want this. That's a circular situation where you control the path forward and you're not letting him do anything.
And again, they would argue we're offering you a surgery.
They're not offering it.
They're not.
They're demanding it without demanding it. They're saying, "Hey, we've offered you one thing that's not an offer."
So you want the player to get this surgery. He says no. You have a B. Jack Eichel doesn't have a B because he doesn't control, 1, his body, 2, trading himself. Their B is moving him to a different team that can let him do what he wants. And they're not taking either path. They're just standing in the middle of the road when there's 2 paths down the road. And they're saying, no, we're the Buffalo Sabres and we're going to be awful in every single way possible.
They're shambolic.
It's a joke.
That's why I'm saying the Sabres are not serious about trading Jack Eichel. I don't know why no one else has said it. They are not serious. If you are a Buffalo Sabres fan, hear me now. They are not serious. They want this to continue. This is an ego play.
Oh, I think the Sabres.
Because here's what you got.
I think
you got owners.
I think ownership refer to the Sabres as not the Bills.
Okay, I think what you got here is you got a guy, Kevin Adams, who is out of his depth. Because if you sign on as a general manager, you need to be able to tell the owner, no, you're wrong and you're acting irrationally, and here's why I'm the hockey person.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. He clearly doesn't have that relationship with Sabres management. Clearly. And when he was hired, I got a text from somebody who's inside hockey who were like, the guy's literally just like their neighbor that they're friends with.
Yes, I have heard similar things.
And so beyond that, this is very clearly, Jesse, you pointed it out. They're just standing in the middle. That means it's an ego play. There can be nothing else. It doesn't benefit the team at all. It doesn't benefit the player at all. It hurts the team. It hurts the player. It hurts the league. What the saddest part of this is Sabres fans are some of the best in the NHL. They are A+
They love
people.
hockey.
They love the game.
Yeah.
And the NHL needs to find fans, needs to develop that. And yes, listen, I get it. Buffalo's a small market relative to the NHL. I get it. But, so is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't play or act like a small market team. They are that's a big boy club.
They're loyal hockey fans.
And the Sabres could be that too.
Yeah.
And hockey ratings in Buffalo are among the highest in the league.
Always.
This is a situation where you have an ego play, and Steve, I think you mentioned something important there now that I think about it. They're not the Bills. Meaning it's like, I could stand on this forever because I still got the Bills. All those fans that are mad at me for the Sabres, yeah, they're still going to the Bills game, though. And the great thing about the NHL is the revenue share agreement is so nice for owners that even if you lose money, we'll make up for it. We'll let the rich teams pay for it.
So let's talk a little bit about this, because I tweeted about it yesterday, and I got some pushback because there are some fans who were like, no, he's being there was a show, and I don't want to call them out because I like these guys, but they said he's being a spoiled brat, which really caught me off guard.
I was surprised to hear that too. And I wondered, I didn't listen to that clip, but I wondered if...
It caught me off guard.
I wondered if they had the insight that maybe Elliott came out with later.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Maybe maybe without some of the context. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt because I liked them a lot too, and it just seemed not like them.
Yeah, I was surprised. But so basically, there's the neck fusion and there's the disc replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Sabres want him to get the neck fusion, which is traditionally how they fix this problem. He wants to get disc replacement, which no NHL player has ever gotten.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably the biggest reservation that the Buffalo Sabres have about it, because right now he is at very least an asset that can be recovered,
mm-hmm.
right? Like he could, if he gets the neck fusion, which I guess players have gotten, right? I couldn't name them, but I assume they won't let him get the disc replacement, but they will let him get this. It's because it's a more proven thing with a longer history, and players must have gotten it. And if he gets that, he can recover. He can be Jack Eichel, and teams will want to trade for him,
mm-hmm.
right? If he gets this disc replacement surgery and it's this new thing, and what if it goes wrong? Then we're on the hook for paying him forever.
No, you're not though, because your contract's insured.
Well, okay. However it works, right? But then they can't even like recoup assets or anything, and they're out this player, right? So, but people have gotten this. And one of the pushbacks that I got was, yeah, but a lot of doctors aren't sure about it. And that is true. But that's how everything in medicine works, is there's a way things are. Someone discovers something new, and doctors are people. They see something new and they go, yeah, I don't know about it. I want to find out, until there's more examples, there's more testing. Like if a bunch of people get this surgery,
mm-hmm.
and then in 5 years, there's enough proof that it does well, and then the Sabres will be like, oh yeah, you can do it if some other guy gets it, because someone on the Hurricanes and someone on the Wild got it and it improved them. But what he's saying is there's this new surgery that I should back up. The fusion, you have to get a surgery. You have to get some sort of tinkering with it. And again, I'm not a doctor, but you have to get basically opened up every 10 years. Mm-hmm. This is a young man. If he lives until he's 85, that's 6 surgeries on his neck.
It's not a permanent fix. It has to be tinkered with.
It's not a permanent fix. And I believe it's mixed martial artists have got this disc replacement. An NFL player. It operates the way that your natural discs should. And believe me, I heard this podcast and I was like, can you do it for the back? and they can't yet, because the neck, the discs in your neck are not load bearing. It's for movement. I don't know all the technical terms. Your back is load bearing.
Be more rotational than load bearing.
Yes.
Okay.
And so this is what he wants. There are plenty of examples of it working, just not as much as the fusion.
Right.
And
so
the Sabres will not.
Yeah,
that's where we are.
And then, so what does Gary Bettman do? He's got a strong ownership group with lots of money in Buffalo. That's got to be Gary Bettman's first concern. Can the team survive? Do I have a strong ownership group that isn't going to Arizona Coyotes me over and over and over and over again? By the way, it's not Coyotes fans' fault. I'm saying. But then after that, he's like what really? Gary's going to probably try to step in as a mediator here. But what real power does he have here? Think about that.
I don't know.
He can't literally, he's a guy who is a part of an organization going to another organization, like there's a collective organization of the NHL, but each of these franchises are separate businesses. They're linked, but they're separate. So he's going to go in and say, your greatest asset, I'm going to tell you what to do with it. I don't think so.
Yeah, and the problem with that, telling the Sabres to do anything, is that it's written in the CBA that the teams get last right of refusal for surgery.
I'd be curious to know how involved the NHL was during Sidney Crosby's saga around 2011.